down 8, like late in the second quarter. Did you then at that point you go on a run? Did you feel like that was kind of the moment this game turned for you when you kind of took control?
Yeah. I felt like we got off to a great start and we were playing exactly how we needed to. And then I thought end of the first quarter and then early second, we got a little out of sorts. So felt very confident that if we just settled down, we'd be in good shape. And the guys did a great job of getting control of the game back.
How much do you guys love this environment, this chance? You can kind of sense that they live for it, and you've seen it for years.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it's about. This is the best time of the year, and to be involved in it again is special. So we've missed this the last couple of years, and our guys, we're so excited to start this playoff run. After a really good regular season. And they've really, I think, gotten better. This is our probably our best stretch of the season where we've been able to put together really good lineups, different combinations that maybe we weren't able to get to the regular season, and we've got a lot of guys playing at a high level right now.
Wiggins, he's obviously done a ton of kind of the dirty work all postseason, but he hasn't had a big score night. I think he had 27. What do you think got him going offensively?
He's had a great playoff run, and I think the way this series is kind of mapped out, there's space for him to attack. The way they're guarding Steph and Clay, the lineups that are out there for both teams, there's some room for Wiggs to attack, and he's doing a great job of that.
Any really word on Porter, the same foot? Is it concerning for maybe the future here?
It's definitely concerning. Raymond, do you have a report?
X-rays were negative, and we'll find out more tomorrow, see how he feels. But he was walking around. He's actually running up and down the hallway to try to test it or whatnot. So probably no more in the next 24 hours.
Steve, coming into this series, there's a lot of talk about Luka versus Steph and, the battle for the best point guard in the league. And I'm just wondering, how do you think Steph has performed at the ripe old age of 34?
I hate that stuff. I know I'm a crusty old coach, but it's a basketball game. There's 10 people on the floor, and both those guys are amazing players, but it's about which team plays better, which team can stay connected and stay together and execute. And our guys have done a good job of that. So Steph was brilliant tonight. His conditioning level is amazing. They're putting him in every pick and roll, and he's out there flying around defensively and then playing at such a high level on the offensive end. It's remarkable to watch him play.
What did you think of the Wiggins poster dunk and the offensive foul call?
Yeah, it was an amazing dunk. I mean, we've seen Wiggs do that before, where he can, if he gets a head of steam and he can, get that 2-foot jump. He's so explosive, and I was surprised at the call, but glad we had the challenge left.
Coach, can you talk about Moses Moody? What has happened over the last couple games that got you confidence to use him right now?
I think the matchup, we kind of felt even before game one that Moses could fit this series well. He played well against Dallas in the regular season. Obviously, we have to throw a lot of different bodies at Doncic, and Moses is a tough defender. He's got good length and strength, and he fights. He's in there boxing out and getting on the floor. He got a key offensive rebound for us in the second half. I think Clay turned it into a 3-point shot off of a free throw.
Confidence in somebody like that along the way when they're not playing for a series or two series?
I think that's the all year long, the work that our coaching staff does with our reserve players, helping them develop not only through work but through confidence and perspective. And so our coaching staff has done a really good job with all of our young guys, and they've really responded well and competed and been ready when I've called upon them.
Did you Did you happen to see Steph look like he tripped over like a vendor like in the second quarter on the sideline there? Unfortunately, he's okay, but did you happen to see what happened?
I did not see it. No, sorry.
Steve, this is Andrew's first extended playoff run, right? And we always hear the playoffs are different. And we also talked about throughout the regular season how an assertive and aggressive Andrew is the best version of Andrew. Have you seen maybe like there is a playoff Draymond, just like a playoff Andrew kind of come out and really just assert himself throughout this series and the entire playoff run?
Yeah. He's and the way it's really showing up, I think, is on the glass. These have been, some great stretches of rebounding from Wiggs. A lot of offensive boards. He had 6 of them tonight. Giving us extra possessions. He's just had a great run. He had a great season. He had a little bit of a dry spell kind of towards the end of the year for a few weeks, but most people do. It's a long year. But he was an all-star for a reason. He's a fantastic two-way player. You don't win in the playoffs without guys like Wiggs. We're basically mirroring Doncic's minutes so that Wiggs can stay on him. And he's another guy like Steph who just never seems to get tired. He's in amazing shape. So Wiggs, it's been a brilliant year for him, and it's continued in the postseason.
Historically, you guys have had a lot of success in the postseason with winning, and it's obviously really difficult to win in the postseason. Just what does it take, I guess, for you guys to win as much as you guys have and had this kind of success?
Well, mainly it takes the talent of the players to be able to go out and do it, and we're blessed with amazing talent with not only Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Wiggs, but Looney has had such a huge impact not only this year but over the years in the playoffs for us, and we got a really nice bench with some rookies and newcomers, and it's always about the players and what kind of talent you have, and we have a lot of talent.
Steve, you ran up guys a lot, right? The minutes are higher than normal. How aware of you that Dallas is doing the same thing, and that was kind of the chess match you were playing, like the battle of attrition?
Quite aware, and obviously Otto's exit made that a little tougher. But we played 3 guys, 39 plus minutes, which we rarely do. But it's the playoffs, so you do what you have to do.
Before this game, you guys were the favorites to win the title. I know you don't deal on that kind of thing, but do you feel like you should be the favorites? Is this team playing like a championship favorite?
You said it in your question. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. So I love the position we're in. I love the fact that our team came in and got the win tonight. This was the one we felt like we had to get. Coming here up 2-0, you've got to take advantage of your momentum. You can't let a team back in. And we know how good Dallas is, so I'm just really proud of the way our guys played tonight and competed and got the job done.
Do you do that? You circle one or obviously you want to win all the games, but do you circle sets of games? Say this one more, whatever.
I just think there are circumstances in every series that you have to acknowledge, and I think our comeback win in Game 2 put us in a great spot. Coming here with only a day in between. Because we were in command, but they played a great game in Game 2, and we were lucky enough to pull it out. But sometimes trying to respond, to a game like that, coming home is difficult. We've been on the other side of that too, and so we wanted to really come out and get off to a good start, and we did that.
You guys were up 8 late. Luka hit a 3 to cut it to 8, and you called timeout. There was only like 1:40 left. You're still in control, but what did you sense in that moment why a timeout was needed?
The whole point of the game at that stretch is no threes and no fouls. We talk about it all the time when the game calls for that. You get up, you don't fall asleep, you get up. We got one of the greatest players in the world coming down. He makes threes in his sleep, and the game's not over, and we just let him walk into a three-pointer. So we fell asleep there for a second.
Is that it? Great.
All right.
You guys in here? Sure.
Jason, what happened there late in the second quarter when you lost that 9-point lead, and also in the third quarter when they outscored you by 9?
Well, I think we won the second quarter. No, they're a team of runs. They went on a run, and again, we gave up 30 points in that third. Just understanding you can't give them second opportunities. When you give them second opportunities, Clay and Steph and Wiggins is playing at a high level for them, and they've been here before, so they understand what they have to do, and they did it, tonight.
Jason, you talked about Wiggins. He might be their fifth best player, sixth best player some nights, and he's a former number one pick. You don't have a player like that on your roster outside of Luka. Does that just speak to maybe the talent disparity of both of the rosters right now?
Well, we're not gonna match guy for guy. We got to throw our team at their team, and Wiggins is a talented player. He's an all-star, and so when you look at what they're asking him to do, he's doing it at a high level. Again, second opportunities, 18 second chance points against the Warriors, it just puts you in a bad situation. And when we're not shooting the ball straight, it really, puts a lot of pressure on our defense. And, to give up 109 to a very offensive-minded team, you should be in the game. You should have a chance to win. This wasn't so-called their best game, but they found a way to win.
Jason, 2 straight games, Lucas scored 40 plus. Haven't been able to win, obviously, either one of those. How do you feel about kind of his individual brilliance versus balance, or is it just a case of, hey, guys are getting shots and not knocking them down?
I think there's a combination. We just didn't shoot the ball well. Reggie's 0 for 10. Dorian's 2 for 7, or is it 3 for 7? When you look at the three guys who scored, Spencer, LD, and JB, that's just not enough against the Warriors. You need a lot more guys to participate offensively, but we're getting good looks, and they're just not dropping. Again, I've said this, jump shooting teams, we're going to live and die by the three, but we're also dying by not getting the rebound and giving them second opportunities.
Coach, Reggie had a great morning, got a great award, but then certainly had a struggling night, and also may have, I guess, had an injury. Could you just talk about the course of the day and how tough tonight's game was for him?
Yeah, well, we're not judging Reggie on this one game. Reggie's been incredible for us all season. He never complains. He comes to work in a great mood. True pro. He got a big-time award, today for what he does off the floor. But listen, when all the great shooters have been there, you make some, you miss some, and he's a pro. He'll be ready to go tomorrow, and he'll be ready for Game 4. But the things that we've asked him to do on the defensive end on this journey, he's doing it at a very high level, and unfortunately, he just didn't make shots. It's kind of cool that he didn't make shots, but he was only -5, in the plus minus. That's pretty cool. That you don't score or make a shot, but you compete on the other end, and that's who he is.
Jason, we all know the numbers when you're down 3-0 in a series. What kind of message do you send or try to send to your team now?
Yeah, it's just one game. Get ready for Game 4, and just that's all we can focus on. I think I said this in the last series. This is just the beginning of this journey. I know you guys had us winning the championship before the season started, and that's a joke if you didn't get it. But this is a lot bigger than just this one game or this series or this. This is huge for our franchise because none of you guys had us here. You guys were all supposed to be on vacation, and yeah, I know, and so it's cool to go through this, and we're going against. You can call them a dynasty. I saw this in San Antonio where you go against they have 3 great players who will be all Hall of Famers. And this is a great lesson learned from us. This isn't, the end. This is just the beginning. I said this in the Phoenix series, if you guys recall. You guys got good memories. That this is the beginning of the journey, and we'll be ready to go for Game 4.
Jason, speaking of going through things, you guys have bounced back, been a good bounce back team all season, but I don't think you'd have to bounce back from losing a 19-point lead in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Do you think that there was any hangover at the start of this game? You fell behind, you did battle back, but I wonder if the early going, you sensed any hangover?
No, I didn't think there was any hangover. We got great looks. The ball went in and out, no different than in Game 2. The ball just didn't fall for us, and that happens in the game of basketball or any sport. Sometimes the ball falls for you, sometimes it doesn't. We got great looks. Again, it's a 10-point game. It's an 8-point game. We just couldn't get over the hump, and you got to give the Warriors credit for that.
Jason, you mentioned the whole experience part of it. Do you think that you or even your team can appreciate the experience that you're getting just in getting this far, regardless of the result?
I would say yes and no. When you're in battle, you're not thinking about the bigger picture. You're just focused on the thing at hand, and that's trying to make a basket or get a stop. But as we reflect this summer, whenever that starts, we'll understand what we did and how we can get better. And that's the blessing of this whole thing is, we truly believe we belong here, and we're going to keep fighting, but we're also going to get better from this experience.
Jason, when you look at the missed threes, the offensive rebounds, do you sense fatigue in any way could be just adding up at this point with how many minutes you've played, Luka starting injured, just the lack of off days?
Yeah, you're going to have to ask them that question. I don't have too much movement when I stand up or sit down. So that's a player's question of are they tired?
Awesome.
Just following up on that, though, 47-33 rebounding, 18-4 second chance points. I know you're playing small lineups. What are you seeing as far as what factors into rebounding being that lopsided?
Yeah, we just have to, be physical and make contact to keep them from crashing. A lot of times the hit is too late. And so when you're playing small, we have to just, we got to hit first. We can't hit second. Thanks.
What happened there in that third quarter? I mean, they known for coming out in the third quarter and just hitting you guys in the mouth, and they did it again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they've won championships. They've played a high level for a long time. They're known to do that, to your point, and we didn't necessarily respond. So, that's why you had to swing in momentum.
How do you guys close that rebounding gap? It was at 18 at one point, ended up 14.
I think it's just a collective effort. A lot of times we play small, so that means we all got to come in there together. Myself, I probably had a couple, could have got in there with the guys, and then, Bull, JB, Dorian, we all got to go in there and crash the collective.
Spencer, we know the numbers when you're down 3-0 in a series. What kind of attitude or mindset do you guys have and carry into Game 4?
One game at a time. Oh, I mean, that's really it. I mean, we've had a chance to win. Technically all of them, but really games 2 and 3. We didn't sustain 48 minutes of play at a high level. So, you got to make the adjustments needed, play for 48 minutes, and take it one game at a time. People come back from 3-1, so, add a game onto that.
Spence, every time you're out there, you're guarding an all-star or a max play or someone with a huge pedigree. Collectively, do you guys ever feel overwhelmed from a talent standpoint, that this team is just really good from a talent standpoint?
No. Look, man, people get paid in this league for a variety of reasons. It doesn't necessarily make you more talented than another guy. And this is not to take anything away from the Warriors. Obviously, like they are phenomenal. They're a dynasty, right? But no. I mean, for example, right, like Draymond, he's a max player. He's one of the greatest role players of all time. But he's not a traditional standalone max guy, right? Like, you're not going to put him on the floor and be like, hey, go get 30, right? So, you know, they've got a great team makeup, great chemistry. They're essentially a dynasty, but no, like, you don't walk on the floor and be like, like, damn, they're just so much more talented than us.
Spencer, Jason has said over the past couple games that the threes just aren't falling and they just aren't, going straight, if that makes sense. Besides just waiting for them to kind of recalibrate, if you will, is there anything you guys can do differently or anything that you guys can work on or do in practice to fix those things, or is it just a timing and a patience kind of deal?
I mean, obviously we can attack the rim for sure, try to get layups and free throws, things of that nature. But at the same time, I mean, we're constructed the way we're constructed, right? Like, we've played at least since I've been here, right, last half of the year. I don't think you get to the Western Conference Finals and then, obviously you stop missing shots, but you can't necessarily like throw out the baby with the bathwater. Like, you still gotta trust Bullock and Doe and Maxey and those guys to hit threes. And then obviously when it's not falling like that, then it's on Luka, myself, and JB to, be aggressive in the paint.
Hey, Luka. I asked Jason if he felt that you guys were getting fatigued, if all the minutes, all the heavy minutes, were finally adding up to any degree. He said I should ask you guys. So do you sense that at all?
I don't think it's fatigue, Sometimes at some point in the game, you're going to be fatigued. But I don't think so, I think the rebounds, the second chance points are a big problem in this series.
What happened in the third quarter when the Warriors really pulled away?
That's what I said. Like I said, second chance points are killing us. The rebounding they had, that rebound, that's, I think, again, in all three games, and that's making a big difference, I think.
Luka, Jason talked about, even though you guys haven't won a game this series, that this is really a building block for you guys and for the franchise and just the experience of having this stage. What do you think you guys have learned game to game? Maybe not so much in strategy, but just in terms of, the atmosphere and the competitiveness level and just this kind of stage.
I mean, that's gonna be difficult. Every game's gonna be really difficult. So it's not over yet, but it's not gonna be easy. The Warriors not gonna give you anything easy. So I think we're gonna learn a lot, and we're still learning. But you gotta come 100% every game.
You guys have been gone from home for a week, and we're just coming back for the first time tonight. I wondered if you could take me back through when you think back to the highs of the Game 7 win, and then the low of losing the 19-point game at Golden State. Do you think that y'all ever came off that high of? Do you think coming off that high of that Game 7 affected you guys going into this series or not?
What do you mean by high?
The euphoria of winning at Game 7, the excitement, the thrill that you said you couldn't get the smile off your face after Game 7.
I mean, yeah, it was, I think, an unbelievable win. Like I say, nobody had us being here in this conference finals. But I don't know, man. I think the Warriors are playing incredible. Everybody knows their role. Everybody just stays together. They're a long-built team. They've been together for a lot. And I think they're playing great basketball. So that's what's going to be really difficult. And this past 3 games has been really difficult.
Can you give us your view of what happened on when Wiggins dunked on you?
I mean, I got hit a little bit, but that was impressive. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the video again. I was like, oof. That was pretty incredible. I wish I had those bunnies.
And this is 2 straight games. You've had 40+. Obviously, you lose both. This team's now in your career 2-6 when you get 40 in a playoff game. what's kind of the balance between your individual brilliance and finding a way to to win against elite competition in the playoffs?
If I would knew that, I would have executed. But I mean, that's a tough question. Like I say, I'm still learning. I think the first 2 quarters, I played very bad. That's on me. But I'm still learning, and I think after this season is done, whatever we are, I think I'm gonna look back, and learn a lot of things. It's my first time in conference finals in the NBA. So I'm 23, man. I'm still learning a lot.
Luka, following the Game 3 loss tonight, what's the big thing that you'd like to see the team collectively improve on heading into Game 4?
I think, like I say, the rebounding, we got to be way better. We got to be more physical. It's really tough with Looney. He's an unbelievable player. He's very underrated. Nobody talks about him, but I think he's been doing an amazing job. And it's tough with him. He's a strong dude, and he helps him a lot. He's a great role player, and we got to do a better job boxing him out.
And despite the loss tonight, I mean, what's it like just to be back in home and get the atmosphere back on your side?
I mean, it's always great to be home, And these fans, I enjoy. Since the first day I came here to Dallas, so I was really excited for this game. Unfortunately, we couldn't get them a win, but we'll try next game to get them a win.
You talked about Luka being more physical, or wanting to be more physical. How much of that extends to shot selection? There were a few times where fans were groaning when you guys would drive inside and then kick it back out for a 3 that wasn't going in.
I mean, it's tough, I think they're collapsing a lot in the paint, so I think they're just sometimes they're just making us shoot threes. I think they're every time I drive, I think I see a lot of players in the how do you say in the area in the paint. So it's tough, Sometimes you feel like you open and everybody know you can make a shot, and then just miss. It gets crowded a little bit down, but sometimes you just gotta take those shots.
We're gonna take a couple on Zoom in Slovenian. Maha, go ahead. And once you go.
Dobro jutro iz Ljubljane, Luka. Upam, da se slišiva, ker precej Slovenije držite po konci, po noči. Upam, da ta podpora pride tudi do vas. Žal se ni razpletlo tako, kot ste si želeli. Kako pa bi vi ocenili vaše prve 3 tekme v tem konferenčnem finalu? 2-krat ste presegli 40 točk, ampak kot vas poznamo, vam to ne pomeni prav veliko.
Ja, mislim, da to glih nima veze. Mislim, da smo 3-0 smo dol, tako da to glih nima veze. Ampak upam za naslednjo tekmo, da bomo dobili in o tem, da gremo naprej. Mi še zmeraj verjamemo.
Luka, izgleda, da na igrišču kar precej vaših soigralcev morda ne verjame več v to. Vi jih spodbujate, vi ste tisti, ki jih vlečete proti koncu. Kaj boste rekli pred 4. tekmo?
No, jaz mislim, da vsi verjamejo. Malo je težko, kakšnič ne zadaneš kakšnega šuta, ki si dal 10 pik, ampak mislim, da vsi verjamejo. Mi sem rekel, da ostanemo skupaj, karkoli se zgodi. Hvala.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, what are your immediate thoughts after throwing down a dunk like that?
Just feeling the energy. That was the main thing. When I seen the rim, that's all I seen. And they tried to take it away from me, but Steve challenged it and we won. So thank him for that.
What would you have done if you didn't challenge it?
Nothing, I feel that dunk would still be alive.
Were you surprised in the moment, like when you saw offensive foul?
Yeah, I was like, what? But they tried to take it away, but maybe they didn't see it fully through. That's what the challenge is for.
You had 27 tonight. You've mostly been in the teens in these playoffs. What do you think got you going a bit even more offensively?
Just staying locked in, staying aggressive. And with every game, with every series, it's a different challenge, a different opponent, a different type of basketball. So
you've been in a bunch of these, really tense playoff games now with Draymond, Steph, and Clay. What have you learned from them about, capitalizing on these type of moments?
Just not taking nothing for granted, even though, like, we're up now. The closeout games are the hardest. These guys aren't going to go out without a fight. And they're a tough team, so the job's not finished. We still got to stay locked in and, finish the job.
You hear a lot of guys talk about how the playoffs are a completely different game than the regular season. And, playoff Draymond has been a term that's been coined because he elevates his game to the next level during the postseason. Do you feel that with the intensity and that everything comes with playing in this extended postseason run, that's kind of led to you just really continuing to be assertive and aggressive and dominant all throughout this run?
Playoffs is different than the regular season. It's very detailed. The physicality, you're allowed to get away with a little bit more stuff. So I love it. I feel like it brings out the most in everybody. It's the biggest stage you can ask for.
Where do you rank that on your nasty list? And should the NBA allow charges in dunked-in world?
I don't know. I feel like I got a lot of nice posters. I'll let you guys decide. I don't even know. What was the second question?
Like, should they allow offensive charges when people get dunked on?
Nah. I mean, unless it's like blatantly obvious. But mine was a little ticky-tack. It was nothing.
You had that other dunk, the putback dunk. What did you see on that one?
I was just crashing the boards, and it was there, so I tried it.
Andrew, your experience being on kind of losing teams, does that make this experience being this deep in the playoffs, being one win away from the finals, even sweeter?
Yeah, definitely. Some people never get the opportunity, so you can't take it for granted. You got to cherish these moments and the people around you, and the family and the teammates that you're grinding with to get there. So I'm excited.
At what point did you have real confidence that this team could win it all, that this was a legitimate contender?
To start the year for sure, and we didn't have Clay back. So I was very excited, very motivated, and very confident in this team.
What have you, seen from the coaching side of the playoffs? Just what your staff has done, and just kind of the series game-to-game adjustments that come at this time of year.
It's tough, and they're doing a great job. Every game is different, every series is different, and the adjustments they make, even on the fly, is a lot. So I give credit to them.
How difficult? You guys change defenses a ton. A lot of times, just like within the game. How difficult is that to always kind of, be like monitoring the sideline and switching up?
It's not that difficult. We have a lot of guys, a lot of good leaders, and Draymond, Lou, they're very vocal, on the defensive side, and they're going to let you know. And if they don't let you know, Mike Brown's going to be yelling from the sidelines. So you're going to hear somebody. They make the job easier.
You talk about how you don't get tired. Steve was just talking about that a little bit too. What do you attribute to that?
I try to eat healthy, try to get some sleep, live a good lifestyle. And summertime, I condition my body for moments like this.
Have you done any kind of different conditioning since you joined the Warriors compared to years past?
Nah, basically the same thing.
Anything else? Thank you.
Jalen, what happened there in that third quarter when they outscored you guys by 9 points?
They outscored us by 9 points. They're a third quarter team. I said that last time. That's when they take off.
How do you guys correct the rebounding deficit? It seems to be happening almost every game.
Yeah, we just gotta stay connected to bodies, not getting rebound. We just gotta be able to fight. Plain and simple. It's just some minor adjustment that we can fix, but we just gotta be committed to it.
How significant do you think their championship experience is?
It's very evident. They just stay connected throughout the entire game. Whether they're down 20 or up 20, they just stay connected. You can see that. Yeah, it's just very evident.
Sorry, Jay. Down 3-0. We all know how that is, how tough that is. What's the attitude right now for you guys, and how do you know?
One game at a time, plain and simple. You can't look. I mean, that's all we have. One game at a time.
What do you got to change? Not just on X's and O's, but what's got to change in terms of how you're playing?
We just got to pick it up third quarter, fix our rebounding. When things get tough, we got to sit together. And that's something that we'll be able to do all year. So we just got to sit together. I know it's tough. I know situation we're in is tough, but we got to play one game at a time, one possession at a time, and just focus.
Jalen, along those lines, Jason talked about how, regardless of how the series does or doesn't unfold, that this is a really good building block for the core and the franchise going forward. What do you think you guys have learned, like on a game-to-game basis, not so much in scheme, but in just about playing on this level and on this stage here?
I mean, one thing we understood or understand is that it takes all of us, and from the guys playing, from the guys on the bench, and it truly takes all of us, and it's been something memorable, and the guys that I've been playing with, the guys that are on this team, it's special. So the fact that we're going through this, it's right now it sucks. Now we really gotta keep fighting, but it's only gonna make us better.
Seems like after that second quarter sequence with the backcourt violation, technical foul, personal foul, that you really picked up your play at both ends. Is that a fair assessment to make?
Yeah, it was fair. I got really upset. It clearly wasn't a backcourt, and then I got a text for saying that's whack. So, yeah, I was pissed off. So, but thanks. Helped me play a lot better. Appreciate it.
Draymond, you played, I think, almost 40 minutes. Steph played 40. I think Wiggins 40, Clay close to 40. Was this the game where you guys were really, I mean, was this the circle game, like where you got to win this one?
I mean, it's just a feel that you have in these series coming off a win like we had last game. You know, if you can come in and play good basketball and you can essentially put a team away tonight. Now, this team isn't going to quit. They're led by a Hall of Fame coach. Hall of Fame player, but he's Hall of Fame. And a future Hall of Fame player in Luka Doncic. So they won't quit. But you can instill a lot of doubt with coming out and win this game, and we knew that. And so we came out with a certain intensity level and focus level that, you know, it would take to come on the road and still win. And, you know, we did that tonight. Now the mindset changes to, you know, coming out and taking care of our business this next game. But we kind of wanted to go all in on this one for sure, because we felt like it was a game that if we come out and play our game, we should win.
What have you seen from, or what did you see from Andrew tonight?
It's the same thing been seeing all playoffs, taking on the challenge of guarding guys, and, you know, he took on a challenge, been taking on this challenge for the last 3 games in this series and guarding Luka, and then on the offensive end, he's been aggressive. He's attacking the rim, he's knocking the shot down, he's coming up with extra possessions on the offensive board. So he's just been aggressive all around all playoffs, and it's been great to see, and it's obviously been huge for our team.
Talked about how much you love playoff basketball. It takes your game to a whole other level. Have you seen the same thing with Andrew, just thriving in this kind of intense environment that is the postseason?
100%. You know, that's a guy who's been criticized for being lackadaisical, and the beat goes on. You know, we've heard it all, and yet, you know, on the biggest stage, you know, he's come through. I've always said no one talks about teams that guys are on or organizations that guys are in. No one ever talks about that. It's always the player fault. And, you know, he's showing that I'm not far off when I say that. So, you know, it's great to see. Absolutely amazing to see him pick up his level of play. You know, he was like this at the beginning of the season, which is why he became an all-star, you know, and then he kind of hit a little lull there after all-star, which is normal, especially after your first all-star game. And, then he's picked it back up, and it's been absolutely amazing for us as a team and for him as a player.
Draymond, you've played a lot of playoff games with Steph Curry. Do you notice anything different about the way he's playing now compared to early on?
He's been extremely aggressive, and that's what we need. I think he's always been aggressive. I don't really see any difference other than maturity. You know what to expect now. How to win. All of these things. And so I think the biggest thing I see is maturity and just being ready and knowing what it takes in these situations.
You thought of the defensive game plan in this series?
Ours?
Yeah, yours.
I think it's been incredible. I think in making Luka work, we don't want to just fall into switches. That's what they want, and so I think our coaching staff did an incredible job, as they always do. I told y'all before, I've never gone into a playoff game feeling like I wasn't prepared or another team was better prepared than us. And our coaching staff continues to do an amazing job. And then equally as important, guys are following the game plan. Obviously, we've had some breakdowns here and there, and that's going to happen. But guys are following the game plan and sticking to it, and that's why we're in the position we're in, up 3-0 with a chance to close out come Tuesday.
How difficult, you guys, I guess first question on this, do you feel like this is the most you guys have ever switched defenses with it? It seems like possession to possession is something different at times.
I think so. We've went through that some during the season and practiced it, but it's been really on the fly in these playoffs, and got to give credit to Mike Brown on that. I think when you're playing against a guy like Luka, you just never really want to give him a steady diet of anything. You can pick what you think is the absolute best coverage against a guy, and if you keep doing that and say it works and it works and it works, if you keep doing that, a guy like that, he's going to figure it out. And so you want to try to keep him off balance, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it.
How challenging is that, though, from a player perspective to, keep looking over the sideline, keep, figuring out what you're in?
We try to designate a guy or two to kind of look over at Mike on the way back every time because he's changing the calls. And so, like I said, it's something that we've practiced all year where he'll come to myself, he'll come to Otto, he'll come to Andre when Andre was playing and say, hey, you got to look at me because I'm changing the defenses. And so, it's kind of like a defensive coordinator who's sending a signal to a middle linebacker and they're sending the signal on to the guys. So it's been effective for us, and it's a weapon in our arsenal.
Draymond, with your team one win away from the NBA Finals and the Mavericks one loss away from elimination, what kind of game are you expecting on Tuesday night?
It's going to be a very hard game. No one gets to the conference finals and quits. Never happens. Up 3-0, up 3-1, whatever. No one ever quits. And so we're not expecting them to come out and quit. We're expecting them to come out and put their best foot forward. Ultimately, I think if we put our best foot forward, we give ourselves a chance to win the game. But being one win away from the finals means absolutely nothing. It just means that. You have to win one more game, and that game isn't going to be easy, so we got to make sure we come in with an even better focus level than we did tonight, and I thought it was incredible. But closeout games are always the toughest, so we got to come out and win the game. They're not going to give it to us.
Draymond, I'm sure you've seen a lot of big poster dunks. Just your thoughts on Andrews.
Absolutely incredible. He's been attacking like that, and, that's always our battle cry to him, like, forget going lay the ball up, go dunk. And he's been attacking like that all playoffs. He got a couple posters this playoff, and, that one was on Luka, so it just means more. You can, when you get a poster on a superstar like that it just means a little bit more, so it was incredible.
And do you get a little bit of a sense of joy a little more joy when you win a challenge like that, with the coach's challenge?
Absolutely. I didn't think it was a foul in the first place live, so to win the challenge and know the play stands. Like, we saw Anthony Edwards dunk this year, and they got called off, and I thought that should have been a block as well. And or no call, because he kind of jumped over the guy. But we saw that, and, like, you don't see that play much because it didn't count. And so it would have been a shame to see that one not count. So I'm happy they got it right.
I know you're in the middle of the competition. It's hard to think about the big picture, but when you're going on a run like you did to start the game or even to close the first half, are you thinking this is what a championship team plays like?
100%. We knew we had to come out and start this game off right, and kind of seize control, not come out frantic, not come out turning the ball over, just come out and be solid. And to see that we were able to say that's what we wanted to do and actually do it, like that was another step of growth for this team, because although we've been saying it, we haven't been able to do that. And to actually come out and guys be locked in from the start to the finish, I think that was a huge step in this team's growth. Everyone's different. I think this team is totally different than any championship team we've ever had. And so, honestly, it doesn't. It feels totally different. And, you know, you appreciate each journey for what that journey brings and the challenges that it brings, but it doesn't feel the same. It feels a lot different.
Draymond, I got to ask you about that bit of sportsmanship we saw from you today when you backed up into Luka a little bit. Everything's on the line. Every second counts, but you still found the way to kind of help him stand up. I just want to ask you about that.
I appreciate you asking me about that. Everybody think I'm a bad person. No, I think I stepped on his foot or something, which made him fall. And if I just take off running, to me, that feels cheap. Like, I hate cheap stuff on a basketball court. And so, like, help him up. Like, I made him fall, so I should help him up. And, you know, it's sometimes it's bigger than the next play. Like, and I got a lot of respect for Luka and a lot of love and appreciation for his game. So if I knew I influenced him falling, I think it's just the right thing to do to help him up. If he doesn't want the help, then that's another story. But I'm at least try to help him up, and, you know, it was good.
Draymond, before this series, there was a lot of talk about this was changing of the point guard, you know, Luka taking over from Steph. And I'm wondering, do you think that was any motivation to Steph that, you know, that he was maybe being written off a little bit? And also, did you see Luka's shimmy when he hit that three?
Of course. He's a competitor. I saw the shimmy, and it's to be expected, you know. Steph was in the area. Steph shimmied on them left. Of course, you expect that. But as far as the talk before the series, I didn't even see it or notice it. I'm not sure if Steph saw it or noticed it. At this point, you don't need any more motivation than this team is standing in the way of getting back to the NBA Finals. And, you know, for a organization, for a group of guys that's been counted out and said we were done and stick a fork in them and send them to their deathbed, that's enough motivation in itself. Now, as a competitor, if you see that, you know, of course it's going to motivate you. You know, if someone said, oh, this guy's next and it's his turn now, you're going to have something to say about that if possible. And Steph is more than capable of having something to say about it, and he's showing that. But Luke is incredible. And, you know, his time is now. His time is next. His time, like, that's a great player and is going to be great for a long time. So I don't see it as any changing of guard or anything like that. They're both incredible players, and we get so caught up in this sport of trying to make one guy the person or this guy or that guy as opposed to appreciating everyone's greatness. And I happen to be someone who appreciates individuals' greatness for themselves. I don't need to compare them and say it's him now. Like, no, he's great and he's great. And just appreciate and watching them both, because as we know, we all got an expiration date in this league. So I just appreciate the guys for what they bring when they're bringing it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We all watched what they did last series, so we knew this would be a crucial game, and I think that first quarter good start propelled us to the victory, to be honest.
Whose stat surprised you on that sheet?
No, I misread it. I misread it.
What, just defensively, has this been one of the more complex, I guess, game plan series you guys have had with all the different looks you're throwing at them?
I just think we're doing what we do best, and that's using our length. Andrew is playing incredible on Luka, just making him work very hard, and what a game he had tonight. I mean, he was, looking like Dominique Wilkins out there with the dunks he was throwing down. So we got to replicate this effort in a couple days because we would like to get some rest and not have another game in Sacramento or San Francisco.
Is that your favorite Wiggins dunk you've seen?
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, his head was at the rim. That was just incredible.
Well, you've been saying basically all year that this team's going to win a championship. So why else, that this is what this team's in there for? Do you feel like this team is the championship favorite?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anybody else, and I'm pretty sure that we have home court if we were to win the next game, come the finals. So, I mean, we got championship DNA, and we got some great young talent, and we're just meshing at the right time.
Clay, you've played a lot of playoff games with Steph Curry. How much have you seen him evolve or change, or what have you seen change about him since early on?
He just knows where to get his shots off. He knows. He makes our offense go, obviously, and I think his ability to finish around the rim, he's the best at that when it comes to point guards, and he's just doing what he always does, and that's just amazing all of us.
Clay, just talking about this series and where you've transpired to where you have a 3-0 lead now. How does it feel just to be one game away, I should say, back to the NBA Finals?
It feels good, but I'm not going to be overly eager until we win that game, and then we can celebrate that when it happens. But then we got to put that behind us again, and we want to win the whole thing. That was everybody's goal to start the year, and we have a golden opportunity to do that Monday, and I know we're all just going to be so excited when that time comes.
And looking ahead to that game ahead for Game 4, what's it going to take just to stay focused and realize that it's a 3-0 lead, but
yeah,
it's important to stay focused in that Game 4.
Knowing this team won't lay it down. They got some very good players, so we're going to have to go take it. They're not going to give it to us, and just going to have to just play together, play as a unit, strength in numbers. It's been our mantra.
Clay, what have you seen out of Moses Moody these last few games?
I mean, Mo is incredible. He is just such a poised rookie. He plays with incredible moxie, and he just made some really big hustle plays for us, and he got me a 3-ball, got me going, and he's just a young man who's wise beyond his years.
With Otto going out and then, obviously kind of still waiting for hopefully getting back Gary and Andre back, how big is kind of finishing that sweep to get those extra days of rest like you were talking about?
It's very important. Just like you said, we want to be whole going in the next round, and we have to act like we haven't finished the job yet. It's far from complete. We still have 48 great minutes of ball to play, but we're all eager to get there and just have fun with it.
Clay, you obviously have several guys on this team who've made many deep playoff runs before. Then you have some of the new players here, especially Andrew. How much joy do you have for him to see him get his first taste of this deep of a playoff run?
I'm so happy for Andrew. He worked so hard to get to this point, and to become an all-star this year, we just got to help him become a champion, and he will obviously help us. But what he did tonight, highest plus minus on the team, 27-11 with excellent defense. I mean, that's what we brought him on for, and he is such a talented player, and I'm so grateful we have him.
Are you able to sense maybe a different level of hunger for a player like that? What do you kind of pick up from him?
I mean, I've seen him average a ton of points before. I just think he has more talent and a better structure around him than he did previously. So sky's the limit for him, and I think we're able to unlock his potential. And he's one of the best two-way wings in the NBA. And I can tell you, everybody in the Warriors organization is grateful he's here. Without him, we would not be where we're at.
Terrific. Thank you. We'll have to step in. Is this maybe the most complex defensive series from a game plan, like within the game, changing defensive coverages up that you guys have had?
Yes and no. Like, there's a lot of communication because we switch defenses a lot throughout the game, but what we're trying to do is pretty straightforward in terms of giving Luka a lot of different looks because he has a ball in his hands pretty much every possession. So you have to, as long as we're on the same page, you know you're going to send a lot of bodies at him. You're going to have to rotate and whatnot. Where we get in trouble is if we try to switch when you're on the fly and not everybody's on the same page, so you give up something. But from man to zone or box, whatever it is, like those are pretty straightforward defenses that we've practiced pretty much all year.
Steph, when you take a look at that box score, what sticks out to you?
109 to 100.
And Looney's just been consistently grabbing boards for you this series. Another game with 12 rebounds. I mean, how helpful has he been inside the paint in this series and on the road tonight?
It's a testament to how things change in the playoffs. You know, from series to series, even series from game to game, where you have to have everybody stay ready. If you ask Loon, Game 4 of the Memphis series, like, how do you feel? He probably would have said that not knowing what was about to happen. And he comes in Game 6, makes a huge difference, has a, career night rebounding ball. In this series, he's had career nights and has an amazing impact every night. So it's how we do things, obviously, with everybody being a part and being a factor at some point, but it's how the playoffs go. And you just love to see a guy get rewarded for, staying ready.
Steph, when did you, I guess, come to the realization that when you get into these moments that Wiggins was a guy who could be with you, and Steph and Clay and Draymond? Like, when did it hit you like, this is somebody, if we're in that moment, he's going to be good with us?
There's no moment that said that. From the time the trade happened, that was the idea of what he could do to impact games for us defensively, his athleticism. He was a 20-point scorer, so he knew how to put the ball in the basket, but he would be asked to do it a different way and balance, with the rest of the guys. But we've been preaching that since he joined the team a little over 2 years ago, and it's amazing to see it happen under the bright lights. Like, you don't know how a guy's going to respond, when they're asked to do what we're asking him to do at this stage in the season, in the playoffs. And you have the highest hopes, but he's stepping up, and that's only because of his approach and his attitude and him just being a gamer. What we're asking him to do is, guard the best guy on the other side, make it difficult on him, be aggressive offensively, take what you see. What he's doing, rebounding the ball, has been awesome. And even just his comfort level to put pressure on the rim. Like, we don't have that much vertical threat, with other guys that we have, and he can provide that when driving lanes are there. You've seen him just attack the rim, get to the foul line. The dunk he had, the putback he had, like, all that stuff matters.
Steph, what happened there on the sideline? Were you just simply tripped, and were you a little upset by that?
Yeah, man, like, it was 30 seconds before halftime. If you order a drink, just wait till halftime. It's like, right, I don't know why they needed to deliver it right then. Thankfully, I was all right, but hopefully that guy, he was doing his job, so hopefully he got a big tip.
And before that, was there a little words between you and the Mavericks bench, or what was going on there? It was like kind of everybody came together there for a little bit. You celebrated the 3 by running all the way to the other side, and then it took a long time for you to get back.
No, it was just playoff words being exchanged from everybody. There's a lot of parties involved on that one.
Steph, going back to Andrew, does it add to your motivation to see a player like him who had to go through some rough stretches early in his career? Does it add to your motivation to see him have this success in his first playoff run?
It's just a testament again to the vision of the fit that he was going to be when the trade happened. The fact that We know we needed everybody to step up for us to get back to the stage and for us to win one playoff series, let alone get to where we are right now. It's not motivation, it's more an excitement that we can do it a different way with a guy that hasn't been at this level yet, knowing he was an amazing scorer, his journey through the league, that he could figure out how to impact winning. That's all we keep saying, just find a way to impact winning. Loon's been doing it. Wiggs has been doing it. JP's been doing it. So that's how we do things.
Steph, did you see Luka's shimmy, and can you give your professional critique of it?
I didn't see it. I gotta go look. I'll do some homework and I'll get back to you on that one.
Also, there was some talk before this series that this was the changing of the point guard. There was you versus the young guy. Did you get any motivation from that? Like talk about comparisons between you and Luka?
Y'all know I hear everything. That's not the motivation, though. The motivation is the fact that we're back on the stage with the opportunity to chase a finals appearance again after 2 years of hiatus, and like I said, being back with our core, but with a new cast of characters that has an opportunity to do something special. So I don't need any extra motivation. It's just trying to take advantage of the opportunity, knowing they're not gonna come. You shouldn't take it for granted. There's a limit to how this goes.
26 series now in a row with a road win. Is there a thread that you can see when half the team is new?
Yeah, me, Clay, and Draymond, and even Andre on the bench, helping us out, being our voice, our eyes and ears. We all just know how to win. And we love those type of grind-out games where it might not be pretty from start to finish, but you just figure out a way to make impact plays at the right times and come out with a win. Like, it's a good feeling to come on the road against a team that has been playing amazing in this building. Especially if you look at just how the last series went with them, in a 2-0 hole, coming back and dominating at home. Like, that's a big win. There's a lot that goes into making that happen, and everybody stepping up and contributing.
So if we all seen how this season kind of came together, you start off well, but a little struggles, and then Draymond gets hurt, you get hurt, you're not even back to the playoffs. At this moment, with the way the pieces have come together, do you feel like this team is ready to win a championship?
I mean, I'm not going to fast forward. Like, we're playing great basketball right now. We can play better, but we're finding ways to, like I said, win games. And that's how you piece this thing together. Like, there's no expectation other than what's the challenge ahead of us. And the challenge now is to close out a series against a really good team to get back to the opportunity to win the finals. Like, if you ask us, we talked about it when the playoffs started, like, we had high hopes, and we still do, to win a championship, but we had no idea what it was going to look like. And our goal was to keep getting better as the playoffs went through, because we were so far from our peak. With everything that you said going into how the season ended, so that's not lost on us. But it's exciting knowing we have an amazing opportunity on Tuesday. To come out the West.
You said the team could play better. What are a couple of things you'd like to see improved on in Game 4?
There's just times throughout the game where we kind of get a little scattered, get a little rushed, especially offensively. Did a better job of taking care of the basketball, which is always a key for us, and rebounding. But there's just times where we get a little bit more organized, and you need to take advantage of those stretches of the game because, especially on the road, those can dictate a win or a loss if you let a team get momentum. Especially if you kind of play into their hands a little bit. There was a moment there in the end of the first, early second, where we were up, I think, 10 or 11. They clawed back to 3, which we're supposed to do, but it's a lot of stuff that we can kind of tighten up in terms of what we're trying to do offensively. Our defense has been amazing. The effort's been great. Flying around, trying to make it tough on them. Even, Luka getting 40, a lot of that's from the free throw line, but we can still do. We still make him work. So offensively, we just got to continue to get better.
Just going back to Tim's question really quick, would you say this might be the most gratifying season for you guys, just because of everything?
Gratifying season?
Gratifying season, just because of everything you guys had to go through just to get here. Obviously, it's always an immense accomplishment to get to this point, but.
I mean, we'll see.
Steph, how much of a factor do you think Wiggins being with you guys, losing in the play-in last year, not making the playoffs, and kind of that? I mean, you guys kind of built this coming up, losing to the Clippers, and building that kind of character. Him having that with you guys, do you think that has had any impact?
It's a great call. It's a great, that last 20 games we had last year, we went 15-5 and clawed our way to the A seed, and we lost those 2 playoff games. He felt the intensity. That was one of the things we talked about last year. Like, we gave it everything we had down the stretch to even get to that position. We would have loved to have playoff series to kind of go through those reps and see if we could have put something together. But those 2 playing games and those last 20 games were great for us to build an understanding of how you value every possession, the intensity you need to have to win games like that. We obviously finished the season strong record-wise, but didn't reach the ultimate goal. He felt all of that. JP felt all of that. And it's carried over to this year for sure. And it's carried over into this playoff run where he seems just very composed and under control and understanding what he needs to do on a nightly basis. And I hope he feels the recognition for it's not just what it looks like in the stat sheet, it's what it looks like from the eye test and how it impacts the game and how it impacts us winning.
Is that your favorite Wiggins dunk?
Absolutely.
You like the Towns one early in the year. You like the Towns one early in the year, though.
Oh, that's just fourth quarter and a big win. Not just because it was Luka's, because it was the way it looked. It was unbelievable. And we got to see it 800 replays because of the challenge. So appreciate you, Mark. That was nice.
All right, is that it? Great, thank you. Appreciate that.